What is up, guys? Knicks beat the Pacers 130 to, well, I need to bring my mic in here, 130 to 121. It's a big effort, man. All right, let's start from bottom to top of my notes. OG is playing great downhill. And you know what? Talking about OG, let's start with the injuries because OG Anobi, it's gonna be. They're really pessimistic about him playing game three in Indiana. I would not expect him to be at the road trip at all. I thought it was a cramp, but damn, that shot my emotions. Man, OG, please be okay. Please be okay. If it's grade one hamstring injury, I think I'll take him until the Boston Celtics series. That's the best case scenario right now. But yeah, hey, but OG is playing great downhill, and I think that was the greatest thing about his development as a Knick is just the way he can play downhill and the way his mid range shot has been going. And it showed the total package today with him having 28 and three quarters. Just great. Him going downhill was very, very productive. And the Knicks need every single basket of him. Whenever the Knicks were, shorthanded, Brunson was in the locker room. Knicks were they were depleted of energy because their star was in the locker room. OG got every single bucket they needed to keep the game close for Jalen to come back and eventually get the Knicks' W with the help of a lot more players. But full court press for this Pacers team is looking like a middle school full court press right now. The Knicks are just able to just slice and dice it. Yes, it takes a long time. Yes, it's gonna wear the team down. But man, whenever the Knicks get up the floor, hey, the Pacers cannot play a lick of defense when Brunson gets the ball off the floor. The Pacers defense just relies on let me get an 8 second count for the Knicks. That's it. But if they can't do that, then they're gonna get beat. TJ McConnell play, big viral play of him just bodying him. That play was because TJ tried to press up, but then yes, it took a lot of energy out of Jalen, but then Jalen crossed over, bodied him up, did a Randall type move, and then went right to the rim. And that kind of shows that the Pacers have no defense outside of just full court pressing you. So once you get the ball up, which it can be Josh Hart taking the ball up, it can be McBride, it can be Dante, it does not matter. We'll get into our sets. We don't even need to because their defense is so bad outside the full court press. This team is Swiss cheese if you just get the ball up the court. And you guys are professional basketball players, so that should be pretty damn easy. You are not middle school basketball players. It shouldn't be that hard. And it wasn't hard for the Knicks, and whenever they got up the court, they found success. Um, Brunson, whenever he came back, it just felt like the energy, the team was kind of like, our star player's out again, man. These stars are just out again. And it felt like the energy was sucked out of the team. No energy from the team at all. Rebounding was just dominate. Defense didn't look like the Knicks defense was doing anything at all. Yes, Brunson being back did not help the defense, like literally. But I think Brunson being back bring the energy to also help the defense. And, it was a big, big spark for him to even just step out on that court. Just his playmaking in the second half, which is amazing. Even though he didn't really score that much. I mean, he did score a lot, but he didn't really move that well. His scoring was timely and his passing was great. Just him being there, it just creates some confusion for the Pacers. It just creates their defense. It creates multiple bodies at Brunson. Whenever Brunson comes on the basketball court, it creates multiple bodies, and then you can play out of that. And then one time, the Knicks did perfectly. You know what happened when the Pacers blitzed Brunson? I want you guys to think about it. I'll give you 5 seconds to think about what happened. Isaiah Hartenstein went on the short roll, got the ball, passed it out to DiVincenzo for three. He was wide open. That's obvious. I don't know what the defensive scheme there is at all. Rick Carlisle, come on, man. Like, where's the defensive scheme here? You're throwing out a blitz. You know what's going to happen? Isaiah Hartenstein's going to catch it. You know what's going to happen. You've coached long enough to know what's going to happen. You've seen this team enough, and you've watched film enough. Give us a better defensive scheme. Come on, this is disrespectful. Having us blitz, DiVincenzo wide open three. We're going to live with that. 40% three-point shooter? You're really going to live with that from wide open? Off Isaiah Hartenstein pass, one of the best playmaking centers. Just let him get a free short roll. Fine. You know what? You want to do that whole series, the Knicks will win in 4. The Knicks have a bunch of dogs, bunch of guys who want to do stuff that other players and other teams don't. And it showed today. It showed yesterday. The Pacers didn't want to play 48 minutes of crashing glass, of of just hustling for every single loose ball. They didn't want to do that. Not a lot of teams want to do that, but the Knicks do. And Josh Hart does, and Preston Chua does. Like Don DiVincenzo does. Want to box down, get every single board. The Pacers do not want to do that. And that's the difference between teams, the hunger. And when you get to playoff time, yes, talent is talent, but it's about hunger. Who wants it more? Tyrese Halliburton's great, but you have the great equalizer, Jalen Brunson. It's about who wants it more. What's the hunger factor of both teams? And the Knicks just had it more. Knicks just had more. And that's all it was. Knicks were able to find timely cuts because they just didn't want it as much as the Knicks did. I know it's just bland analysis, but you watch the game and the team just has a bunch of players who want to put the body on the line. You look at the Pacers and who does? Who wants to put the body on the line? Like Tyrese Halliburton really doesn't. Like you look at these players, like they're not going to do the stuff the Knicks want to do to get this W. And that's the big difference between a lot of teams and the Knicks. And you realize why the Knicks winning. Damn, I mean OG Anunoby, Jalen Brunson, half of Jalen Brunson, 3/4 of OG Anunoby, no Randall, no Bogdanovich. How are the Knicks winning? It's because of hunger. And when you have the great equalizer in a player like Jalen Brunson, it's all about hunger. It's all about if you want it. Because you can have the great equalizer in Jalen Brunson, and you can equalize Tyrese Halliburton and Jalen Brunson. But you if you don't have it, if you don't want it more, then it does not matter. So it was great to see the Knicks just be who they were for the whole entire season. And I saw a tweet today. It's about, I don't even know. I couldn't really pull it up right now. I'm going to pull it up. I'm going to pull it up. You know why I'm going to pull it up? Because I feel like it speaks volumes to the way Coach Tibbs coaches his team. It speaks volumes. Why are the Knicks winning? By NY Knicks podcast. Why are the Knicks winning? Coming into the playoffs, Rick Carlisle told his team they needed to elevate their game for the playoffs. Tibbs told his team they need to play like they do every night. Now, what does that mean? Exactly. What does that mean? That means that, Bradley Beal, also him saying at the end of the season, a regular season, now we need to get into playoff mode. The Knicks were in playoff mode. They were in playoff mode the whole entire season. So it just gives them a cruise control to the playoffs. And they can just play the way they played and free. Now, patiently be like, let's hyper focus. Oh my goodness, this cannot happen. Like what we see in the regular season, the effort. No, Knicks were just like, let's just go, let's ride. Let's go right into the playoffs. Let's play the way we were playing. With heart, with hustle. Other teams don't want to play like that in the regular season. That's the difference. And that's the difference between the Knicks and other teams. That right there, what I just read is the difference between the Knicks and other teams. Bradley Beal had an interview, post-game interview about this is the time where we start playing defense. That sounds great. That sounds a great PR question. Sounds like a great PR answer, PR trained answer. But man, is that really what you want to do? You want to start playing defense now? You had 82 games to play defense. You want to just run into the playoffs with we need to hyper focus on let's play defense? That's how you get swept. You got to play the way. You got to play hard. You got to play with heart and hustle every single game because once you get in the playoffs, you can just play the way you're playing. It's a smooth transition. And for the Knicks, it's a smooth transition. Rick Carlisle had no idea what he's doing. He has no idea. Why is T.J. McConnell sitting on the bench? Give me a good question of why T.J. McConnell was sitting on the bench. I won't even tell you the plus minuses because I know I can find it. Why? Before you ask, okay, well, there's 70,000 calls and the Knicks had that we could have won because of these 70,000 calls. Just tell me this simple question. What happens if T.J. McConnell's in this game? I know it's T.J. McConnell. You might laugh at me, but what happens to Obi Toppin in this game? Because that's the coaching plan. That's the coaching stuff that needs to be done. And you did not do that. So don't tell me about the calls and everything. You didn't do your job. So don't tell me the refs need to do their job for you. The refs don't need to do their job for you. You're the ref. Do your I mean you're the coach. Do your job and put the players in the game who are playing the best. I have the same conversation with Dibs sometimes. I talk about this with Dibs sometimes. He doesn't play the players who are playing the best in the game. But once you get in the playoffs, it's magnified. You lost this game because you put in Andrew Nemhard. As good as Andrew Nemhard is, I love the guy. He's a great player. He's a great role player. He can't guard Jalen Brunson. You see that. TJ McConnell can. It's you can't stop him, but TJ McConnell getting uh, TJ McConnell had Jalen using the most energy, and you reward the competitors. As we say, the Knicks have a bunch of competitors, and the competitor on the Indiana Pacers is TJ McConnell. So why is he not out there? The playoffs is for competitors. Andrew Nemhard was not competing at his highest level. So why put him in? Figure out the guard room, Rick Carlisle, before you try to figure out the calls. Figure out your guard room. Figure out what you're doing with Andrew Nemhard and T.J. McConnell. Figure that out before you figure out the calls. 75. You were up all night. You were up all night. What about you? You're up all night figuring out what the hell you do with your basketball team. How you not lose to a depleted Knicks team. How you give more fight. What about you stay up all night thinking about that instead of trying to get 80 calls to the NBA? The Knicks are rigged. I mean, this is rigged for the Knicks. They're a big market. Well, let me tell you something. Why did Milwaukee and why did Denver win a championship? Why was Cleveland so good? I guess LeBron. Well, but why is Denver still in the comp? Why is Minnesota allowed to play this tough, tight defense? Because they're a good defensive team. Because it doesn't matter if they're a small market or not. You play good defense, you get rewarded. Minnesota is a small market team. Why are they in the playoffs and why are they 2-0 up on the Nuggets about to go to the conference finals and looking to win like the whole entire thing? I think they will. Honestly, my honest opinion. They just have a great team. OKC, why are they in the semis 2-0 against Luka Doncic in Texas? Why? Why isn't Philadelphia in the playoffs? Why isn't Philadelphia rigged for them not to play the Knicks? Tell me that, Rick Carlisle. That's going to do it. Have a nice day, and let's go Knicks. Peace out. Win game 3, win game 4. Get this Pacers team out.